Hello and welcome to another edition of WCW 2004 here in TEW 2020. It is time to continue the road to Halloween Havoc, but before that, of course, gotta do this another couple times as we've got the 2004 Mayhem Tournament Pick'em. Again, just go to the link here, sign up. You can either just use your email address, and that can be a throwaway email address, or it can be, or you can just put in your Reddit username or your Twitter username or some other way to contact you. Discord username, I don't care. As long as it's some way I can contact you in case you win or finish third. And again, to go over the prizes, again, you just pick who you're going to win. Remember, I only need, the important things is after you pick all the winners, is I only need the four finishers, and the four top people who will be in the final four ladder match and the actual winner of the tournament. And remember, when you follow it all out, you have to actually click the winner. Second place does not matter as far as points. Obviously you have to put somebody in there as a runner-up, but that doesn't really matter as far as who actually wins the match or points in the predictions. But again, go here, and again, first prize is match at the January pay-per-view of your choice outside the world title main event. A wrestler brought it from Developmental, a Dev signing of your choice, a Dev release of your choice, and one push and D-push of the current wrestlers on the roster, and one firing of a member of the W in-game roster within reason. Second place is a title match of your choice, a push and D-push of a wrestler on the roster, and a Dev signing of your choice. And third place is a match on Nitro of your choice and a Dev signing of your choice, of course. And this is Nitro or Revolution, just depends on what match you pick is how when it'll be on, depending on the split. And also, if I get 10 predictions or more, like I said, there'll be a random drawing where I'm going to put in a prediction to win, and they'll get to have a match on Nitro of your choice. That's only if I get 10 predictions. We're currently at 4, but we can, get more, I'm sure. Because we still got, basically a week or two to get through everything. I'm sure some more people will sign up because that's just how it works. But regardless, let's move on with the actual show as we're going on the road to Halloween Havoc. And it'll be see that in just a moment. And we start off Nitro, live from the Hilton Coliseum in, I believe, Iowa City, Iowa, maybe not. I forget the actual specific city. Anyway, we start with a graphic saying tonight's main event is a big main event, and basically a, rematch of a long feud that happened last year of Shane Helms versus Rey Mysterio Jr. Of course, both guys have been sort of involved in each other as, Rey is helping out Sean O'Hare, and Shane Helms and Eddie Guerrero have been sort of quasi-teammates the last couple weeks as they've been feuding with the World Champion and Rey Mysterio Jr. But then we go to our opening match as we're starting out right with the action first of two feuds colliding in a huge tag match. As in a good match, AJ Styles and Paul London drew with Jamie Noble and Jonathan Toro in 11-15 following double count. This gets an 81, which is about what I was expecting. And I mean, this is sort of what you expect. Like, both feuding feuding team members go after each other. We get a little bit of crossover as London and Noble have fought before. Toro goes after Styles, of course, before going after London. And this is just a big old, brawl. Eventually, it goes to the outside. We get a dive train, then Toro, I imagine, everybody hitting their, I imagine, Toro gets thrown to the outside first, London hits a dive, then Noble hits a dive, then Styles hits a dive, and then the brawl continues, and it spills all the way to the outside, and the ref eventually has to count things out, and it's a double count out, and nobody gets to win. So overall, it gets an 81, Paul London gets an 83, AJ Styles gets an 85, Jonathan Toro gets a 72, and Jamie Noble gets a 76. And post-match, the fighting continues, which gets a 73. And yeah, big stuff here as, everybody is just brawling and you have to put over, this feud we'll just have to continue. These matches will come to a boiling point at Halloween Havoc. Live on pay-per-view, by the pay-per-view, please. Moving forward to our next segment, which is backstage. Tricia is backstage and, she's basically getting ready. And in walks, of all people, Gail Kim. Gail Kim has not really been seen on TV since, Joey Laurer basically destroyed her. And there's a little bit of tension within. Gail Kim says, look, I want to help you out tonight. You got a big tag match, and let's be honest with each other. Those two kids you've been partnering with, Natty and Roni Jonah, they might be something someday, but they're not ready to face on two former women's champions in a tag match tonight. So let me be your partner. And let's go kick those bitches' asses. Tricia, after a moment, agrees. They shake hands, and it looks like we've got a big tag match later on of Tricia Skye and Gail Kim taking on Angel Foxx and Lexi James, and the tune-up for Tricia Skye before she takes on Angel Foxx at Halloween Havoc, and this gets a 69. Good stuff. And then we go backstage where Tank Tolan is with Don Marie, and Tank asks Don Marie if she made a deal with Bischoff, and Don Marie's basically rubs Tank's shoulders and don't worry about it, honey. You'll get a big match coming up sooner than later. Just to get them on TV and build things up as this gets a 46. And we move forward to a squash. Like, this is just a complete squash. And probably I should have included somebody who was a little more over, but, crap happens. So this is just Ken Anderson defeating Shannon Ballard up from our Death territory in 307 by pinfall with the Kenton Bomb. This is this is just a direct squash. Like, nothing like cute about it. This is just a squash put over Anderson, and then it gets 26. Both guys get a 46. Brought the crowd down. Oh well. And overall, Anderson celebrates after 2 of 55. Just a quick squash to put Anderson over and continue to build up as a new character here in World Championship Wrestling as we move forward. Then we have a promo where Jerry Borash is with Ramirez Jr. And Ray Jr. puts over the fact that every time people have doubted me, I have proven them wrong. Whether it was when I was even an adult and wrestling with legends in Tijuana, when I was in front of the largest crowds in Mexico, when I told people I wanted to go to America, and there were other luchadors telling me I was too small to ever make it, and all along here in WCW, every time people have told me it's impossible, I've done it. So Eddie, we were used to be brothers. I don't know what's wrong with you, but man, at Halloween Havoc, you're just going to be another obstacle on the course. And tonight, Shane Helms, I'm going to remind you why I beat you before, and why I can beat you again. And this is just going to be a preview of the ass kicking that's getting ready for you when you have to face Sean in the world title match at Havoc. So decent promo putting over the main event tonight, and of course his match versus Eddie at Halloween Havoc as this gets a 79, and we move forward. The backstage segment where chosen few are backstage, doing backstage stuff, and Bischoff walks in, and he sort of says, "I bet you guys thought you were cute." And Jarrett's like, "Look, slap nuts, we did. And look, you don't have the number one contender, but obviously Van Dam is taken out, and there's nothing you can do about it." And Bischoff's like, "Here's the thing. Officially, Van Dam won that match, so he should be the number one contender. But of course, I don't want the next World Title Challenger to happen as a result of a disqualification." And I talked to Rob, and he doesn't want that BS either. But he doesn't want things to happen the same way. So, two things. First, on Revolution, you and your little running buddies are going to take on Van Dam and Hart Dynasty in a big 6-man tag. Pop for that. And also, at Halloween Havoc, I'm signing a tag match between you two, I point to Divine and Jindrak, and the Hart Legacy. And Jarrett's like, "Okay, whatever." And finally, Jarrett, I shouldn't do this, but Van Dam wants a shot to kick your ass, and hey, it'll sell. And you have to realize, I'm all about those buy rates. I'm a businessman. So, at Halloween Havoc, it's going to be you and RVD one more time, but this time, make sure your little friends can't get involved. It's going to be a cage match. And the winner will become the number one contender. 80 overall. I mean, again, not the biggest segment. Bischoff was involved. Who's a little less over. Jarrett, and you guys were involved doing basically reactions. And then Jarrett says, slap nuts. It doesn't matter. I'll kick RVD's ass again, and these guys will prove why the Hart Legacy are nothing but little punks. So this gets an 80. Good stuff building up. And then we have our tag team match. As in a decent match, Tricia Skye and Gil Kim defeated Lexi James and Angel Foxx in 924 when Tricia Skye pinned Lexi James with a Sky's the Limit. Should say that, not Satisfaction. I'll have to go and change that eventually. But anyway, back and forth match. Eventually, Tricia Skye gets a little bit, of a momentum. Things, fall to a 4-way brawl. But Tricia gets Lexi James. Boom. Sky's the limit. And 1, 2, 3, big pinfall. Angel Foxx gets a 54. Lexi James gets a 56. Gil Kim gets a 48, which is kind of yikes. Oh, right. Okay, they had no chemistry. That makes sense. Tricia gets 62, so okay, that makes sense why there was no partner. Why Gil Kim's not Rashova. So, I mean, also, I can sort of throw this into, obviously, James and Fox, sort of dominated the early parts because they were actually they're a oil team relatively. But Skye and Kim are just, two of the most talented women in professional wrestling today, and they get the big win here as this gets a 61. And the babyfaces just celebrate. Just a straight-ahead win to put the babyfaces over as, just put over, Tricia will finally get her chance to take on Angel Foxx at Halloween Havoc, and if she wins there, she'll finally get her match against Lizzie Dumas one-on-one, as this gets a 71 as the two women celebrate. And we move forward once again. Then we have our big contract signing. As first, there's Jeremy Borash in the ring, and first comes out Monty Brown along with Stevie Ray, do a big old heel pop from the crowd because he's Monty Brown and he wants to destroy Bill Goldberg, and then out comes Bill Goldberg to a big pop, and Monty Brown starts things off and says, "Look, Goldberg, I'm never going to say you didn't do a lot in the sport. There are lots of wins, you've won some titles, and all that, but you've never done what I've done. I have a Super Bowl ring, you were NFL washout. I've come here and I've dominated right from the start and risen to the top a lot quicker than you have. You were beating nobodies for months before anybody gave a damn about you. I made my moment the moment I walked into the store. And Halloween Havoc, I'm going to prove it's my time now. And Goldberg, you're the one that's next." But Goldberg fires back, says, "That's funny. Look, yeah, you were lucky enough to get on a team and win a title. But that's the NFL. This is WCW, son. No, not son, because that's bad connotations, and so yeah. This is WCW, Brown. And I'm the man here. I've fought everybody that matters in professional wrestling, and I've beaten all of them. I'm not going to say you're a challenge, Monty, but I faced challenges before. Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Sting, Scott Hall, DDP. All of them have gotten jackhammered and pinned 1, 2, 3. You're just another one. And no. In a couple weeks at Halloween Havoc, you're next, Monty." Monty says back, "Yeah, you beat a bunch of old men. You never fought any up on the come up who's hungry and ready to feast on an old man like you." Goldberg's like, "Monty, you haven't done anything but feasted on the undercarriage of the roster. Now you're facing an actual challenge, and there's nothing you can do about it." He skips, starts screaming at the edge of your Brock tries to keep them apart, but it looks like, just continue the build up. The big old Clash of the Titans here, which gets in 92 between Goldberg and Monty Brown. And TV Ray's there. And then we have another segment of Chuck Palumbo being on the road, and we see him around the US, roads and deserts. We see him in various probably the same set, but various bars and honky tonks, biker bars. We see him arguing with somebody, drinking with somebody, getting involved in a bar brawl, walking out with a lady in a leather jacket, all the sort of fun stuff you'd see happening in a biker bar this time period. And just, but you see him occasionally looking outside thinking about things as we go forward here, as this gets a 73. And then we have a total squash match as Prince Jose defeats Tony Kozina in 444 by pinfall with a butterfly suplex. So what happens here is Jose doesn't get his chance to try to pay off Kozina because Jose just does a dive at him. But Jose quickly takes control of the match, beats Kozina up and just clean pinfall. Honestly, Kozina just Kozina got his initial push because obviously I need a new challenger for Skipper, but he's not that special in ring, and he's not great charisma wise, so he'll just be a guy on the roster for now. And Jose gets the big win here as he gets a 52 and Kozina gets a 46. Rawley gets a 41 because I'm going to guess lack of storyline, and just awful gimmick, and no storyline also. And post match Jose celebrates to a 50 as we move forward to the next part of the show. As we go backstage, where Noble and Ebony Sable are upset. Well, more Ebony Sable's there, and Noble's like, "Look, we need to teach a lesson to Styles. And I'm going to do it at Havoc. I'm going to prove him that he should listen to his daddy and the rest of his family when he said don't get wrestling. I'm going to send him back to Georgia with a tanned hide. I'm going to make him realize this is my company, not his. And there's nothing phenomenal about here. The only phenomenal thing about him will be how bent and broken he's going to be." As this gets to 54s, it's just a quick backstage 2-minute promo. And then we have a fun little backstage segment, which gets a 97 because all these guys are great. As basically Eddie walks into the Helms Legacy backstage area, says "Look, tonight you're taking on Ray Jr., so I want to come back here and offer my assistance because I want to show little Ray that he's still the little brother, the little Hermano here, and I'm still in charge. And he's like, look, I gave you an opportunity, Eddie. I teamed with the best tag team in professional wrestling, and you blew it. Eddie says, "Fire back up. I'm talking. The number one contender is talking, not the man who failed to beat O'Haire, the man who's going to beat O'Haire. So tonight, I'm going to show you how it's done. Just like I've beaten Ray Jr. before, I'll beat him again, and I'm going to show you what happens when an actual man who is going to be world champion defeats you. But hey, if you want to come out and watch, how somebody with talent does it. Again, a little bit of stare down here. And again, I know some people like to work with the idea that all the heels get along, and that's sort of what they did in the 80s and to a certain in WWF and certain in WCW. But I like to see that basically the faces all basically get along, even if they aren't best friends. But all the heels are basically sniping assholes because there's evil, but evil doesn't get along with evil. Evil wants to be the evil that's on top and doesn't care about the other type of evil. Well, good at least tries to get along together. But yeah, good stuff. 97 as we move forward. As we have a fun little, build up, not build up, but preview of the big tag match for the tag titles that's happening at Halloween Havoc as an About Superb Wrestling in good heat. Chavo Guerrero Jr. defeats Morningstar until 10:24 when Morningstar was disqualified when Macias ran in and tagged out Chavo Guerrero Jr. Really, I can use words, I can talk. And this is just a great back and forth style, cruiserweight style match. Morningstar hits his moves, big snap suplexes, best moonsault evers, goes for brainbusters. Chavo fights back and does his brawling, strong cruiserweight style, big lariat. Goes for a brainbuster himself, but Morningstar gets out of it. And eventually, Chavo actually hits the big three Migos, and it looks like he's going up top for a frog splash. But Macias runs in, and the beatdown is on. So this gets an 86. Morningstar gets a 92. Chavo gets an 85. Looks like they had great chemistry, which is interesting for the future. As again, yeah, this gets an 86, and then the beatdown is on. As Alex Wright tries to make the save, but he also just gets destroyed because it's 2-on-1 since Chavo is just down on the ground. So it's just double choke slam. I'm just big choke slam on Macias, big choke slam on Wright. Morningstar just stomps them out and they walk away. Very happy with themselves, or at least as happy as two evil Munster Gothic heels can be. As he put over, it's going to be a very tough road to hoe for the tag team champions at Halloween Havoc as they face the Munster Macias and his hand and the man with the direct line to evil Morningstar. As is an 86 as well, so two really good angles. I think. Yeah, okay. So we have a quick backstage promo with some Cartier as she says, it's true. Attorney Laurer, you got the beat on me last week. You attacked me, you beat me up, but I'm still here. Because you see, there's an old French proverb or saying, or however you want to say it, as well. And it goes like this. En Francia, sans perils, en triomphe, sans glory. Now, you may be able to get out a little bit, but basically what it means is, if you triumph without glory, there's no triumph. You triumph without glory when you conquer without danger. And that's the thing. It's going to be dangerous getting in with you, Joanie. It's going to be the toughest fight of my career. But when I defeat you, it will be the most glorious moment of my career. And that's why I'm getting in that ring. For triumph and glory, and to take you down, Laurer. So, Joanie, get ready for a fight at Halloween Havoc. 70, actually, solid promo. Honestly, I've probably been under pushing Cartier because she's actually decent charisma and good in the ring, but do what you can. And then we have a fun little backstage segment as basically the Triumvirate have I don't want to say find Kanyon backstage, and it looks like they're going to beat him down, but sort of out of nowhere, more out of the darkness, Kanyon jumps. Kanyon's ready to fight an all 3-on-1 because he's a violent babyface, at least for now. When Kanyon just when Jeff Hardy sort of jumps in out of nowhere from the not stage but off a little wood panel that he's on top of, watching because he's Jeff Hardy and does weird stuff, and stands beside Kanyon, and the heels sort of walk away, not wanting to fight 2-on-3 because of course they're Weasley cheating heels. It looks like Jeff Hardy's out to help another babyface as he backs up Kanyon here, as this furthers this little fun feud as this gets a 69. And finally, before our main event, we got a quick Skipper promo, which gets a 39. Skipper, it's still not really working so far, unfortunately. I mean, I really tried, but he's just not getting there. Also, I guess I could say I haven't been really giving him the most over people. What can you do? Anyway, Skipper just puts quick promo and says, Blitzkrieg, I beat you before, and I'll beat you again. You'll just be another one who faces the overdrive as I continue the greatest cruiserweight title reign of all time. And now it's time for our main event. Before I click the button, this has gotten really good ratings before, so I hope it does here. Let's just see. Okay, 93. Scott Hudson is not the best, and honestly, I'm probably going to replace him soon. Send him down to the B, send him out to DevFed or something, but okay. So anyway, back to this match. So, let me see here. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I marked these two as finishes, not just interferences. Okay, oh well, shit happens. Anyway, so it's a great match. I mean, it's Shane Helms and Rey Mysterio Jr. in 2004 after being both pushed strongly, so, it's as good as it's always going to be. Lot dive outside. Helms is undercutting things. Big suplexes. Shane doing his little sugar Shane, quick jabs. Brawls to the outside, dive to the outside. Rey Mysterio Jr. fights back with his own high flight maneuvers. Springboard senton. Hurricanranas. Attempts at, running baseball slides, brawls to the outside. Helms uses more heel work, modified ace crushers, DDTs, goes for the super kick early, but Rey gets out of it. Rey fights back, hits the big, Frankensteiner from the top. Goes for sort of like a, top rope Frankensteiner, but Helms turns it into a super bomb. Both run to the outside. First, Eddie Guerrero looks like he's going to come down and watch. Just as it looks like he's about to get involved in the actual match, Strong Hair comes down and they start fighting, and that distracts Shane Helms at first, but he's ready as he just destroys Rey Mysterio Jr. Well, no. So what happens here is they both get involved. There's a ref bump. They're both in the ring. Eddie actually wipes out Rey, but O'Haire then wipes out wipes out Helms. Both men continue to fight. They both slowly get up. Rey's just distracted enough by Eddie tossing O'Haire into the ringside area that he turns around straight into a super kick from Helms. Then Helms hits the Nightmare from Elm Street, which again, if you don't remember, is a sort of quasi wizard to the back of the head. 1, 2, 3. Shane Helms gets the big win here on Nitro. As the show ends with basically O'Haire getting the advantage and Eddie sort of skulking back as Helms and O'Haire then sort of face off, in the ring with O'Haire on top of the ramp and Helms in the ring celebrating, making title belt motions as this gets a 93. Helms gets an 87, Rey gets a 90, and overall the show itself gets a 91. Okay, good stuff. Processing. So much processing. There we go. All right. Okay, this is absolutely hilarious. Many fans voiced their pleasure at the attacks of W last night as they spent a ton of time of Raw's war taking unnecessary and petty rubber shots at their rivals ROH. There appears to be widespread belief among. So, is this a weird, they were taking shots at Vince Russo or something? Because, for those of you who forget, Russo is currently the head booker of ROH in this universe, which means it's not really a Ring of Honor, but Yeah, Rob Funk is the owner. Oh, not Rob. Vince Russo, Rob Black. Okay, so probably jokes about porn or something. I don't know. That is hilarious to me. Anyway, Percy Pringle. Okay, I don't care. Jamie Noble thinks Lexi James turned into a good worker. I mean, yeah, she's solid. Also, yeah, I've been killing some people with working, but what can you do? Anything of note? G1's doing their tag league. And hey, it's mostly tag match. Well, okay, yeah, it's actually mostly tag matches. We got Nakanishi and Anishimura defeating Ken Shamrock and Cantido. Sakuraba and Tokyo and Silver King defeated Kishin, Kakihara, and Dijo. Chronic defeated Yes. This was a match on a New Japan show in 2004. Chronic defeating Robbie Rage and Big Vito. Were great. Let's see here. Bobby Roode defeating Hugh Morris. Okay. Interesting. Anyway, sorry. But let's look at Raw. So on Raw, we had Molly Holly winning a match, Regal winning a squash, JBL, DDP, and Hall promo, Kane promo, Scott Steiner defeating Al Snow, Big Show winning a squash, JBL, DDP, and Hall defeating Steve Richards and Bump and Grind by DQ, Undertaker, defeating okay, I'm just assuming this was a DQ that didn't really match it. It was massive DQ. Okay, yep. Pretending that didn't really happen for reasons. And then in main event, Shawn Michaels and Edge defeated Chris Benoit and Triple H in a 99. I mean, okay, that could honestly be a match that would get a 99 in 2004, but it's still, they only got an 88, because, like, look at the rest, like, this was not their best show. But yeah, I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. Alright, and now it's time for Revolution, live from the Carver Hawkeye Arena in, I think this is actually Iowa City, not the past show, but it's also Iowa. It's all the same flat ground and corn. Apologies to anybody who watches from Iowa, but come on, you know them, right? Anyway, the show starts out with the Triumvirate coming out, and they basically say, you know, we proved on Nitro that Kanyon's, when he's not attacking from behind, doesn't want a fight. He wants to walk away, backed up by his freak of a buddy, and doesn't want an actual match with prominent, top-tier athletes like us, the greatest cruiserweight of my era, the king of Barbed Wire City, and the greatest second wrestler in WCW. Out comes Kanyon, who says, look, I'm happy to fight the SOBs, but I know what was going to happen. It was 1-on-3, then it was 2-on-3, and you assholes walked away. But you see, I'm happy to fight, but I don't want to face any of you tonight, because I know exactly what will happen. I know I'll be at the business zone of 3-on-1 quicker than your girlfriend there. Ooh, pop for misogyny, because it's 2004. And of course they would. And then that cues, yes. No. Out comes Booker, and he says, look. I'm sorry, I probably said look way too much the past couple shows. Anyway, he says, well, ain't this an interesting situation? You see, Booker is not getting what he deserves. So, I'm happy tonight to whoop some ass. Not because I like you, Kidman, or any of you suckers, but because I want to remind WCW why a six-time world champion should not be left behind. So, Kanyon, I'll kick your ass, but because that's what I want to do. Can you dig that? Kanon's like, fine. You can eat a Kanyon cutter just like anybody else. So we got a big main event set up tonight, as this is a 97, and there we go. Was this just a fancy way to get to a match that I wanted to get that I'm not going to do on pay-per-view anytime soon? Maybe. And then we go to our opening match, which is an interesting little 6-man match. That match the announcers put over was booked by, WCW officials to see which men are, going to get some momentum heading into the future in the Big Mayhem tournament. As in a decent match, Keenan Sharp, Jason Jett, and Will Skipper defeated Blitzkrieg, Dean Malenko, and Brother Ray in 10:23 when Keenan Sharp submitted Dean Malenko. So, of course, Blitzkrieg and Will Skipper are facing off at Halloween Havoc. Dean Malenko and Jason Jett have been in a little feud, and Brother Ray and Keenan Sharp have been going back and forth a little bit, basically the past month or so on TV, even though they haven't a pay-per-view match. And this is basically what happens here, like back and forth, fun little match. Sharp gets involved, actually does some technical stuff with Dean Malenko. Jett and Blitzkrieg trade some high-flying moves. Brother Ray basically brawls with anybody. But in the end, Sharp actually is able to reverse a total submission from Malenko, lock in some sort of like arm hold, and with nowhere to go, Malenko has to tap out as everybody else is sort of doing their own thing. Skipper is doing a dive onto Blitzkrieg. Brother Ray and is actually trying to take out Jason Jett, but Jett has like basically is holding his leg on the outside as the fans boo. But Sharp gets the win here, as this gets a 73 overall. Brother Ray gets a 77. Dean Malenko gets a 63. Blitzkrieg gets a 51. Il Skipper gets a 57. Jett gets a 67, and Keenan Sharp gets a 65. And Jett is getting better at his gimmick, which is good. And post-match, the heels celebrate to the boos of the crowd, and a 58. We go backstage, where AJ Styles gets a quick promo saying, Noble, you say you're going to teach me a lesson, Halloween Havoc. No, I'm going to want to teach you a lesson, Noble, because it's my time now. It's time for the phenomenal future of WCW with me leading it, and you're just going to be left behind. 70s and promo again putting over their match at Halloween Havoc. And then we go backstage where again Tank is with John Marie, and Tank's like, look, I want a match. You promised me that I have a big match. And then he's like, look, I'm talking to Bischoff again and again. Long nights trying to convince them of what we need to do. Tank's like, don't worry, baby, I know. And Don says, no, you're going to have the biggest match of your career next week, I promise. As this gets 8:45, again, building up sort of like Tank, sort of a doofus character, and Don Marie doing Don Marie things. And then we have a total squash as Joanie Laurer, our WCW Women's Champion, kills Lacey Gardner, aka Lacey, in 3 minutes with a powerbomb. This is a squash. Like, the only reason this isn't like shorter than a minute is Joanie basically plays for the food. But yeah, this, again, Joanie gets a 92 because she's awesome. I mean, again, she's not great in the ring, but she's so over and charismatic and everything that it just gets everything over. And then she takes the mic and says, Cartier, you're funny. You see, you don't accept. This is natural selection doing its thing. I've destroyed everybody WCW has put in front of me because I'm the dominant women's athlete in the world today. And there's nothing your spirit or heart or fight can do about it, because you'll fall just like anybody else. Oof. Jesus, oof, because Sin Cartier has pulled in and absolutely walloped her with a chair, and the fight is on. And that gets an 81. And yeah, basically they fight for a couple minutes, and Cartier is actually getting the advantage, because she's an old school brawler, she's Lufisto. And eventually WCW officials break it up, but it looks like, he's going to put over, if Cartier can take Joanie Laurer off balance, she has a chance at Halloween Havoc. Moving forward, we have a quick backstage promo with Jeremy Borash, with Rob Van Dam, Teddy Hart, and Jack Evans, with Mandy Hart also there. And this is just a quick little babyface promo where RVD starts out and says, look, I gotta stop saying look. He says, man, Jarrett's, this is always who Jeff Jarrett has been. A whiny, scummy, little asshole who thinks he deserves everything because of his name and the little bit he's done in the past. Brother, in that cage at Halloween Havoc, I interview you why I am Rob Van Dam, and I'll be the man who gets the next world title shot, and there's nothing you can do about it. Then Taylor and Jack Evans, kind of quick promo says, basically they're looking forward to a big tag match at Halloween Havoc and proving they deserve the next tag title shot, whoever the tag champs are. Just your basic babyface promo, as this gets a 65, because I actually rated Hart and Evans just to see what happened, and there you go. Then we go have a fun little segment as Eddie Guerrero comes out to the ring, and he says, every damn week I have to hear it. People pointing out I lost to Sean O'Hare. People pointing out that Rey Mysterio Jr. thinks he can still defeat me. People not respecting one of the greatest wrestlers in the history of the world just because I've lost a couple times. Everybody loses in professional wrestling unless you're productive. And Rey Jr., you've lost a lot, and Halloween Havoc is going to happen again. And Sean O'Hare, I don't like Shane Helms, but I hope he super kicks your teeth right down your throat and gives you a future shock. Because Guerrero family values say, I'm going to rise to the top once again and prove why I'm the best in the world. And there's nothing anybody in this building, in this ring, can do about it. So somebody come out here and let me kick their ass. And after a moment, Kenny Anderson comes out and says, look, I don't know your problem, man, but if you want a match, you want a match, and it looks like it's on. As this gets a 94, because I basically put Anderson as a cameo, and, puts over Eddie's sort of selfish, sort of paranoid, just pissed off, conceited asshole character. And we have the actual match, which is Eddie Guerrero basically killing Anderson. Anderson gets a little bit of a babyface run right at the beginning of the match, as he's not quite ready for Anderson. But Eddie eventually takes over. Three amigos, brainbuster, frog splash, good night. So this gets a 70, Eddie gets a 92, Anderson gets a 44. Decent little match again, putting over Eddie, because honestly, he hasn't got a just straight clean one in a little bit of a while, And then post-match, Guerrero just like beats down Anderson as he tries to get up and walks away and sort of like just spits at the curtain and says, "Rey, that's a preview." As that gets 73. And then backstage, we have a quick a promo backstage where we have all three of the heel group as it's Lizzie Dumas, Angel Foxx, and Lexi James. And Lizzie's like, it's interesting. Gail, I thought you proved to everybody at the last pay-per-view that you're a joke. You got your ass kicked by Laurer. And you know what happened? You should have walked away. Should have licked your wounds. And maybe in a couple months, people would have forgotten about how pathetic you looked. But instead, you're getting involved in my business. So here's the thing I want. Next week, either Nitro or Thunder, I don't care. I want to give Tricia Skye a little preview of what actually happens if by some stroke of luck she manages to actually earn a title shot against me. Or not earn a match against me. Because, see, finally, even though it's too late to make a pay-per-view match, I've been cleared for singles competition, and I'll be happy to prove in that ring why I deserve to be at the top of the women's division by defeating a former women's world champion. So this gets a 58 as Lexie and Angel Foxx just are in the background being, looking like sneering evil guys. Oops. Let me try that clicking again. There we go. And then backstage, Brother Rey basically confronts Skinny and Sharp and says, "You want to prove you're a real fighter? You want to prove you're on the path? Fine. Beat me. Actually beat me in the ring, one-on-one in a fight." Sharp's like, "I'm already on the path, and I don't need to listen to some galook from New York and listen to his raving and rantings to do what I should. But I do want to show these fans what false prophets they follow. So I'm happy to fight you. But no, I don't want to brawl or some pointless fight with no disqualifications or tables or whatever silliness you'll involve. No. I want to fight you in an I quit match. Make me quit by some miracle, or more importantly, I'll prove that the Barbed Wire City is nothing but a miss when I make you scream out in pain and say I quit." There's where he says, "That'll never happen, bro. So I'm happy to beat your ass." 69, and it looks like we have a future I quit match between these two. And then we have our 6-man tag that was set up on Nitro between the Chosen Few and Rob Van Dam and Hart Legacy. And it's the match you sort of imagine, like Jarrett doing heel, brawling, cheating shtick. Hart Legacy doing lots of flips. Jindrak doing some power stuff. Sylvie and Johnny Vine doing the heel cruiserweight stuff. Rob Van Dam doing some flips of his own. Back and forth match. But in the end, RVD managed to, nail Sylvie Devine with a 5-star frog splash right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Gets a big victory for the babyfaces here as this gets an 86. Devine gets a 66. Jindrak gets a 74. Jarrett gets an 86. Evans gets an 81. Teddy Hart gets a 67. And Rob Van Dam, because he's awesome, gets a 92. And post-match, RVD is ready for Jarrett and actually blocks him his attempt to nail him with the guitar with a sidekick. Picks up the guitar and helps himself and wails Jarrett with it to a big pop from the crowd as that gets an 81. And to further build up the big cage match at Halloween Havoc. Then we have basically a rerun of the Palumbo on the Road stuff I went over on Nitro, which this gets an 86 this time for reasons. Then backstage, Paul London's backstage when Jonathan Toro and Romeo and Swinger sort of face him down, and London's like, "Look, if you want to beat me down, beat me down. But remember, no one will believe you. You're a rightful U.S. champion if you do that just a week or so from our match. If you want to beat me in that ring, that's fine. And if you take that title from me, then people might actually respect you, Toro. But until then, you want to kick my ass? Fine. I'll fight you all. But everybody will know you're nothing but a false Caesar." Pearl's like, fine, but your days are numbered. Capiche? And it's like, yeah, whatever. 76, again building up the US title match. And then our main event, oof, 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 oof. I should not have left these guys. Oof. Alright, let me just see here what actually heard this. Oh shit, I forgot that storyline. I forgot the storyline to this match. I'm a moron. I keep on forgetting to do this. I should have, okay. Okay, so lack of psych, I guess. I should have double checked. I thought these guys were both above 80. Oh well, Kanyon beats Booker T in 18 minutes with a flatliner, 79. Kanyon got an 86, Booker got an 87. This should have been like an 80. Yeah, this should have been an 88. Unfortunately, shit happens. But yeah, back and forth match. Sort of sloppy, I guess. Like lots of like moves, but eventually, Kanyon cutter, flatliner, 1, 2, 3. Big win for Kanyon. But of course, what happens is Booker T just really rolls out and like goes to the back. And then the Rush Triumvirate run in, and it's a 3-run beatdown. Jeff Hardy comes in and tries to make the save, but it's basically 3-1 on him. And the Triumvirate stands strong to end the show, which gets an 82. And overall, we get 87. Okay, so that didn't kill things mainly because we had the good angles and such. But yeah, totally forgot to add a storyline to that match. Oh well, shit happens. But yeah, let's move forward. Let's see if there's any interesting mail or anything, and then we'll go over what's happened the past week or so, as is tradition. CJ Otis. Yeah. Let's see here. Ann Engine, Romeo, Swinger. You didn't even work last night. You were just on the show. Okay. Billy Kidman thinks Swinger is a star. Okay, sure. Okay. So, over things. Other companies. WWE. So, WWE had SmackDown, and honestly, it wasn't much. TNA defeated Saturday Night Snow, so they're still getting a push. The Galzaburua, which is Kanyon. I mean, not Kanyon. Kane, Leviathan, aka Batista and Vampiro, defeated Rhino, Rikishi, and Tommy Dreamer, aka Rikishi and the Outcast, in a 79. Lots of backstage stuff. Brock Lesnar won a squash. Kurt Angle won a squash. Kurt Angle defeated Val Venus in a 97. And Shawn Michaels being sure to defeat Triple H and Chris Benoit. So that was a show. To go over, let's see here. First, our Fed, NWA Wildside. Wildside TV had Chance Profit defeating Claudio in a 50. Profits up to a 51. Or no, Claudio's up to a 51. Profits up to a 41. Kai Graves and Tony Jones defeat Trevor Road and Stone Matten. Let's see here. Travis Tomko and TNT defeat Sean Bard, Orton, and Daz. Remember, Orton's a regen, but again, not really much of note there. And on the weekly house show, we had Damian Briggs and Raymond defeat Claudio Castagnoli and Matt Cross in a 50. We had Tony Jones, Shannon Ballard defeat Kenzo Suzuki and Kent Cole in a 52. We had Kai Graves defeating Sen Siaki in a 63. Graves and Siaki are both slowly like getting over. They're almost ready. Militech, Orton, Daz defeated Phoenix, Rhodes, and Stone Matten. So there you go. Let's see here. Jason Cross and Christian Bola defeated Tomko and Cassie O'Reilly to retain the tag titles at 67. Fun stuff. Let's see here. And then not really anything much of note. So then if we go to our women's dev fed, we had Bonnie Maxon defeated ODB in a 49. We had Ariel defeated Mischief in a 52. Vanessa Harding defeated Becky Bayless in a 51. Beth Phoenix, Kim Nielsen, and Lee Hosaka defeated Allison Nader and the Mega Women in a ladder match. Okay. And Cheer Melissa defeated Lexie to retain the title in a 55. So fun stuff on there. And then for WWE's Dev Fed, first let's go to HWA. If I can find it as it's right in front of me. There we go. So for their weekly show, we had Skinhead Ivan and Jacobs defeated Jorge Estrada and Dustin Lee. Russ Haas defeated Barry Bradburn, who's a regen they signed. Ricky Shane Page, Annie Douglas, Rick Murray defeated Alex Shelley and Flip Deluxe. Scott Vick defeating Corey Castle in a cage match. Sure. Ekmo and Grunge defeated the Cyber Squad and Capella Shark Boy. And remember, the Cyber Squad is Adam Pierce and BJ Pay. Sure. Chuck Clare defeated Logan Kane. Ray Still defeated Excalibur. And Matt Striker defeated BJ Whitaker. And then in OVW stuff, we had... Oh, I think you guys did not see they had one of their big shows. No, I totally showed you this. Never mind. I think. Yeah, no. hold on, let me just look at the main event. Yeah, you guys, I totally showed you guys this. Anyway, so for the week loop, we had Taylor defeated Eileen Chambers, who's a regen. We had, let's see here, Lizzie Borden and Sarah Stock defeated Riptide and Miss Natural in a 55. Maven defeated Joey Matthews in a 61. Rio Constantino defeated Charlie Haas in a 62. Justice defeating Joey Ryan in 65, sure. And Homicide and Spanky won. And then, let's see here, we had Tony Luca Mafia defeat Too Tough Tony and Chemo. Sure, that's a match that happened. Maven defeated Steve Bradley. And then Justice defeated Rob Conway in 67. And then, just of note, The Machine, otherwise known as Danny Basham, left OVW. Or Doug Basham. He was Doug Basham. So, yeah, that's it, at least on the side of the Dev Fed. Not really a whole bunch more of note going on. I feel like I sort of rushed through things. This was sort of like, I don't know, sort of get through it show, honestly. Yeah, I sort of probably didn't explain things as much as I wanted to as far as the shows, but that's what happens sort of when you get distracted by real life. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I should probably stop. So, okay, just a quick little, I should look at this big Emperor show just for fun. Okay, so we had Great Suzuki Sasaki and Akoto Hidegata defeated Tiger Mask 4 and Kenichiro Arai in a 79. And then on the undercard, Shibata defeated Kid Guzman, I guess is also Tiger Blanco, in a 79. And Shibata got a fucking 87. Okay. And shout out to Chad Collier's a tag champion in N Pro. Okay, fun stuff. Anyway. 0-1, anything interesting happening on 0-1? Okay, this The Godfather and Tank Abbott are a team in 0-1. Sure. But yeah, okay, that's actually it. Quick creatives check. Yeah, Goldberg, Van Dam, Eddie, Jeff, Ray Jr. Who do you expect? Who's hot? Jarrett, Goldberg, Monty Brown, RVD O'Hare. Again, who do you expect from how I've been pushing? But I believe, yeah, that's actually it. So, if you enjoyed the show, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below what you're enjoying and not enjoying, and of course, subscribe to the channel for lots of TEW 2020 content. And hopefully soon, especially as this is a new month, new stuff beginning pretty soon. But outside of that, that's it for now. So talk later, and adios. Have a good one.